Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bird's Eye View. I'm Mr. Crow, and I'm here with Warduck.
Howdy, howdy.
And today we're just discussing some things that we'd read over, some things that came through our feeds. And one of these articles that came interesting to us was some of the unspoken cultures. Is that what it was? Unspoken American
Rules.
cultures.
Yeah.
Rules that we do as Americans here, and that some of the rest of the world doesn't do or sees odd. And we thought some of these would be
And the thing
interesting.
about this is I've traveled, I don't want to say a lot, but I've traveled in other countries and stuff. And some of these I still don't really know, like, if I would do that over there. Like, do people do that in other countries or not? I don't know. So that's kind of...
I've only gone to Cancun, and some of these don't apply to Cancun either because everything was already in my budget. You know, it was already what I paid for, and so
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about some of these things, so I'm very interested to hear people's
So we'll
feedback.
start off with the first one. Do not get out of the car and greet the officer if you're pulled over by a cop. In America,
No.
yeah, but I don't like... Are you doing that in another country? Are you getting out and saying, "Hey, officer, what's happening?" Like, I don't...
Yo, dude, what's up?
I don't see you doing that on the Autobahn. That doesn't seem like the brilliant way to stay alive.
No, I don't think I would do this period even outside of the USA. It just,
Right.
I always, when I'm pulled over, I put my hands at 10 and 2 and I just sit there and I just wait.
I do too, because when they get up there, I always trying to depending on where my handgun is if it's in the open, I'm saying, "Hey, I carry," and it's right there.
Yep.
If it's concealed, then I'm probably not saying anything because then it just creates a thing. But like,
it creates an uncomfortable.
I always have to go through that thing where like, I'm like, okay, where is it? Can he see it? If he can see it, then I'm gonna disclose it right away.
If it's in my glove box and he asks me for my the license and registration. Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Stuff like that.
So if you're not from the U.S., let us know. Is this the thing where you get out and greet a cop? Like, because it just seems like you never would. But maybe I'm too Americanized to understand that. So
I know that my grandpa taught me that when you got pulled over, put your hand at that 11 o'clock and adjust your mirror until they get to you. He's like, because then they can see your hands. And I'm like, okay. So that's how I was kind of introduced to it. But for the most part, I just 10 and 2.
Okay, not often mentioned, but Americans like their personal space. Leave room between. Okay, yeah.
I leave tons of room between me and you.
I don't remember it being a problem even when I was... Well, okay, when I was in Bosnia, people were a little close. Like,
I've had people here in America who do, like, have you ever had those people, they like grab your elbow or put their hand on your shoulder as they talk to you, and I'm like, back off, just back off, like, don't touch me.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Bosnia, people going to get a little close and like they didn't really believe in deodorant and stuff, and so it was like okay, just just hold on a minute.
I definitely like leaving space,
but I've been to like, I don't know, like Budapest. I don't remember it being a problem in Budapest. Wasn't a problem in Belize. South America. I don't really remember it being too much of an issue in a normal circumstance of daily life. In another, there was some instances where people just got too close for other reasons, but like in the daily aspect, I just don't remember it being a thing. So that's another thing. Let us know, if you've been to another country where like people are like right up in your grill and stuff. But I don't see this being a UK thing either.
No, I don't know. I don't see it being a UK thing either. And just because of my experience, I could see like not an Australia thing too. Like, I don't see Carl and my friends from like, if we met, they'd be like right there in your face, like, "Oh, it's so good to see you." It's like, I just don't see it happening.
Okay, the next one. Never cut in line.
Never.
Yeah, and then
Like,
in America,
I
you
don't
don't want to
know.
do this. You'll end
And
up getting stabbed or some shit.
oh yeah, I'll approach you for sure. But
But
like, is this a thing in
in
Europe? They mention it.
yeah, so I do remember like people just kind of walking up and doing things, but like in Belize too, I remember a lot of like people just walking up and just cutting in line where their friends are or whatever, but like
See, and even that with friends is pushing it for me at times.
in
Like
America.
in America, yeah. Like there's times where I'll be standing in line like for a concert or something, and all of a sudden this big group will come by and they'll let all their friends in, and I'm like, I'll let it slide, but that was
Like
freaking jerkish.
for me, it's always the amount of time or available space.
Mm,
If there's only if I have a ticket and there's 100 people that they're gonna let in because you all have tickets, it's not as big a deal. But if you're in a line and there's only 100 spaces and then they're letting people cut in, yeah, I'm gonna have a way bigger problem.
We're gonna have a moment.
We're gonna have
yeah,
a moment,
exactly.
right? But I did see this a lot
talk.
when I was overseas and stuff, and it's just like I don't know. When I'm over, like I'm not in the U.S. It's not. It's it's just not as big a deal as if I was standing at line at. What the fuck do you stand in line at? Like Disneyland? Like if I'm standing in line for 3 hours at Disneyland, yeah, it might be a problem.
You ain't cutting. You ain't cutting.
I don't care if it's your friends or not. It might be.
Yeah.
That might be a problem.
Exactly.
I have to size up how big people are because somebody might be going down with a broken ass knee. All right.
I see this next one as a very, very common here in the U.S.
Yeah,
like you just don't speak politics in the U.S. It just no.
Because even if you're on the same side, you probably ain't agreeing on half the shit that you're about to talk about anyway.
That is exactly what I thought of when I read this. I was like, yeah, even if I know they're in the same, like we agree on the same person, let's say, if that's what gets brought up, there's still some other issues that I'm going to be like, probably don't agree with you.
And there is absolutely nothing you could ever say to change that person's mind. No. Even if it was the most egregious, true thing in the world, they're still not going to change their mind or believe you.
No.
So,
and this comes along the same topic down below of religion as well. Like there is nothing that like it just becomes one of those things of like, no, you're wrong because it just becomes this.
But I wonder, like, if you're in another country, is like politics like the go-to conversation and people just like can have it and because I don't see politics being things that anybody ever agrees on. I don't care what country you're from.
No. Yeah, that
like you're either on one side or the other side, and there's just a lot of space in between that for you still not to agree or like it just I don't know. But I guess if you live in a country where it's not democratic, then probably politics is probably either you all agree that your dictator is doing great or you're going to get killed. So
in the comments below, don't bring it up.
Right. All right.
Awesome.
Unless it's a clear and dire emergency, you ask someone if they need an ambulance before you call one. It's the most expensive taxi you will ever take and can ruin most people's financially for years.
Yeah, here in America, for sure. I've had a lot of these. I've come across a lot of these before, actually. And yeah, that's almost the first thing. Like, are you all right? Is everything okay?
I've been shot 4 times. Like, drive me to the hospital. Don't call an ambulance.
Exactly. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And because of our free market healthcare, I don't even know what you call our healthcare.
I don't even
anymore.
know what you call it.
But it's not government like it's not like Canada or other places where it's paid for by society. This is like a very individual build problem, and an ambulance ride it's probably more expensive than the surgery you'd get when you got to the hospital, to be honest, because it's probably not covered by insurance, so you just get stuck with the whole bill.
I'm trying to think. I don't think they are, but I
think it can depend.
So when I had that back injury about a year and a half ago, and I could not move, like there was just nothing. They ended up calling an ambulance. My wife called an ambulance for me, and I went into the hospital, and it was, I think, less than 2.5 miles away, but yeah, that was an $800 ambulance trip.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take that.
Do not hitchhike. It's not safe here.
Unless it's an ambulance.
then it costs you $800. But
I don't think I would hitchhike anywhere though.
When I was growing up, I did a little bit of hitchhiking, in the early 90s, late 90s. But I agree with that nowadays. Nowadays, it's not safe in America to hitchhike. But when I was in Belize, living in Belize or these other countries, like, everybody's hitchhiking. Everybody's traveling around. Like, people are just... Like, you don't have the same wackos in America you have other places too, though. I'm not talking about particular types of things that you would use. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about there is a serious high level of people that'll do things because they think they can get away with it in America.
Yeah.
I would venture to say there's more serial killers in America than anywhere else also.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never looked into it. I'm fascinated with the serial killer mentality and things like that. I love listening to those podcasts and such. But
and maybe that's the media. Maybe I'm caught in the media thing where because they're publicized more in America or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like there's more of those. Like, I just feel like yeah, hitchhiking, you're kind of putting your, like think about it, right? You're a rando on the side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So who's picking up a rando on the side of the street, right? Ask yourself that.
Somebody who's either very confident, you have to realize that you're bringing...
Or you're a moron, complete moron.
That's true too.
Because look at all those people that picked up Petio's boyfriend, right?
Yep.
Like, because he was hitchhiking, and he got picked up by like 25 TikTokers, and all those TikTokers were just picking up hitchhikers, right? Like,
I don't...
So if you're gonna pick up a hitchhiker, you're either super fucking dumb, for one, or you are confident enough that if you picked up the wrong person that you could deal with whatever it is.
Exactly.
Or you're purposely seeking out somebody to hurt.
See, I think that's,
That's kind of, I don't really see any other people than those three types of people picking up hitchhikers. I just don't.
I'm going to blame Hollywood for me, because when I was a kid, I think it was in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. I think it was late 80s. The horror movie, The Hitcher. And nope, no thank you. And then there's also Creepshow 2. Thanks for the ride, lady. If anybody knows that. I wasn't. No. And then just no. And then there's also lots more. Like, what are the pit stops off on the rest areas? The rest stop, whatever. There's a horror film on that too. I don't like any of that stuff. Like, nope.
Yeah, I do a lot of traveling around the country. I've done a lot of traveling around the country, do a lot of, and I even I was, a soldier in the military, I wasn't picking up hitchhikers. Even now when I'm armed all the time, I'm not picking up hitchhikers. Like, I've done it a couple times, but it was like 20, 30 years ago when things were quite different than they are now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. They're still different. Yeah. But, I mean, heck, look, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They picked up a hitchhiker. That dude was messed up.
All right. So, yeah, in America, just don't
Just don't do it.
Just don't pick up hitchhikers and like
No.
I don't know. But like I said, when I was in Belize, I just got out of the military, had my dog tags, was getting ready to go into Guatemala on a bus, and the bus guide guy or whoever the hell he was like, there's been some rebels stopping buses here or there, and so just stay on the bus and, give them whatever they want and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get off because somebody waving a gun at I'm going to be an international incident. This ain't, no, I'm going to get off. So I got off. I was like 2 miles away from the Guatemala, Belize border. And I was like, shit. So I started walking back and started hitchhiking back. And then got picked up by an American family that was going back to the same place that I was going back to. They all knew each other anyway, but it was like, it's weird. But like, I don't know.
Lucky,
in other countries, a lot of people just hitchhike, and but just don't do it in the U.S. There's too many weirdos in the U.S. It's just not a safe place.
No way.
So, all right. You have to tip if you go. Wait. What? You have to tip if you go to a dine-in takeout restaurant. You don't have to tip Subway, Pizza Hut, or any of the national franchise.
Yeah.
A dine-in / takeout? Like what? Where would you tip at a slide-in
I don't know where
takeout?
I don't know where you would tip at a takeout, but I know that I come across it a lot, like Jimmy John's, what is it, Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Subs, Panda Express. I'm trying to think of like other, like Chipotle, like what might be big enough, but they always ask, at the end if you want to leave a tip, and you don't have to do those. But if you're dining in, you have to leave a tip. I guess you don't have to.
I would say if you're getting fast food.
Yeah, heck, I get asked at McDonald's too. Well, they're like, you want to leave a tip?
No. If you're getting fast food, it is completely optional to tip or not if you want to, just because their kids making whatever they're making. Well, now they're probably making like $20 an hour. They're
making more than I do.
But anyway, like if it's fast food, you don't have to tip unless you just choose to.
Yep.
If it's a sit-in restaurant,
they're not even making minimum wage.
If it's a sit-in restaurant, I still feel tipping is optional.
Depending on their service is how I look at it.
Right, but it's strongly suggested, and you should be supporting your servers if they're doing well. I just went out for a birthday dinner. We went to Red Lobster because my favorite restaurant apparently closed down here in Tucson, and I was kind of upset about it. So we were going out to dinner, and then they were like, oh, it's permanently closed. And I was like, so we were like, where are we going? And I was like, I don't know. I guess we'll just go over here. So we went over here to Red Lobster, sit in. The food was really good, and I thought our waiter was exceptional. Like, he was always on it, very attentive. And I don't even actually remember my wife saying this, but apparently one moment she said it happened to be my birthday or something, and which I don't even remember hearing. But at the very end, when we were trying to leave, the guy brought us some a free ice cream, and then we had to sit because the twins were like, "Yeah, ice cream," But it's like, like my drink was always filled. I didn't have to ask. Like, I thought he did well, and they have this little thing on the bill where it was like, it gave you suggested 15%, and it told you how much it was, or it was like 10% or whatever, and I was like, for me, what I usually do is, like for me, like a maximum tip's probably close to $20, unless for whatever reason you blew my fucking mind. But I figure it's about $20. And then kind of what I do in there is I like to round my bill up. It's like a weird thing for me. So
I'm the same way. OCD right there.
So, the suggested tip was like 15, 40 something or whatever. But to round it up to the nearest, not the nearest. Well, to round it up to the nearest would have been like $6, but the next one on top of that, it was like $16.50 or something like that. And so that was what I left the tip, and then rounded the total bill up because I thought he did really good. Wasn't quite the $20. because I mean it was good, but it wasn't like blow my mind service or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I thought he definitely deserved this, you know, and it was more than what they even suggested, and so
Yep.
I didn't feel bad about it. But I also, if I felt like the service wasn't good and I wasn't really happy with it, I would not have felt bad about not leaving a tip at all.
I've actually walked out of a place that, you know, like I've paid my bill and I've left very little, like because I do feel sorry for them because they don't make a minimum wage. But however, the one flag that comes to my head all the time is, and I've had this a couple times here in Utah, and I don't know if it's just a Utah fad because I've never had it anywhere else. But I've had a waiter or waitress come up and they're like, just want to let you know we're a little busy today. I'm a little stressed, you know, and I'm like, okay, now you're setting up myself up with, you're just telling me, you're giving me excuses already of why you're not going to be able to serve me.
And for me, it's like, if this is a job you choose to do it to the best you can, right? Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be given excuses for doing your job because you're not doing your job well. Do your job better, or get a different job. I mean, especially nowadays in this environment, like it's not hard for you to get another job.
No.
But like, and that it's not, for me, it's not hard to be a good service. Just be slightly attentive and pay attention. When you walk by, are their drinks empty? Okay, well then you know you need to go and fill them up. Like it's not hard for you to spend that extra second to glance at the table when you're walking by instead of just flat ignore them.
And I really appreciate some of the waiters and waitresses that come by and they don't say a word. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, I don't need to, is everything all right? Is everything taste okay? Are you guys doing all right? Is there anything, you know, occasionally you can stop by and it's like, is there anything I can do for you guys? Do you need anything? And leave. But exactly what you're saying, Duck, is when you're checking on the order next to us or the table next to us, look at my table. If there's my kids or somebody need a drink.
And that was kind of last night, is like, I never had to ask for another drink. He just came by and got me another one. That's what you're supposed to do. It was great.
And kudos to those people who can actually remember the drink. Like,
orders.
Like, you had a Coke, you had a Diet Coke, and you had a lemonade with a squirt of raspberry, whatever.
Americans may be friendly in passing, but that doesn't mean we want to take you home and be best friends.
Agreed.
I would have to say it very much depends on the gender and because when I was 20, like if some chick was like, "Hey, well, let's go home," right? You know,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Duck just said,
but
we can be friends.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, that's the thing is like in passing, like people will wave and say hi in passing, but like this is where like other countries where I ran into this is like people walk by and you're like, "Hey," and then they like stop and want to talk to you, and you're like,
yeah.
What's that? I don't know what's happening now. You know,
exactly. I will wave at people. I'll smile. I'll nod. You know, if I know someone, I nod up. I have seen that as I'll nod up. If I don't know them, I nod down. But yeah, I'll smile. I'll wave. If they say hello, I'll say hello back. But yeah, exactly. I don't want you to change your direction and start talking to me.
Yeah.
You know. I was just being nice. You can call me fake if you want.
Reusing the same plate when you go up for second round of buffet. Got to get a new one.
I thought that was a normal thing. Like, do you not get a new plate, a clean plate when you go to a buffet?
I haven't been to a buffet in so long. I really can't even tell you. Like, when I was growing up, we had this place called King's Table. It was like a super awesome buffet that everybody always went to. But I remember just plates stacking up on the table because you would always just go get a new one.
Yep.
But I was young enough. I don't remember like
getting a plate.
Right. It must have just been a thing where like I was watching my parents do it.
Yeah.
And not somebody saying, "No, you get a new plate." Or I don't remember everybody ever telling me that. But so you don't, like, other countries don't do this?
Yeah, that's my question. Is like,
actually, now that I think about it, if you think about it, is water and washing dishes and doing all this other stuff.
oh, that's
It
true.
probably seems very wasteful to people in other countries. Us
True.
having our own plate and having a little food residue, and then going and getting a whole brand new plate to put the same thing back on there or something. Probably seems super wasteful to other countries, I would imagine. So now that kind of makes sense a little bit, probably.
But I was thinking more of the germs and everything, but
like, is somebody gonna say something to you?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't see that happening either, right? I don't see somebody going, "No, you got to get a new plate, sir." Be like, "Oh yeah."
You want to watch me? Yeah. I don't see that one happening.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. All right. Be careful not to trespass on private property. Yeah, we're a bunch of. Yeah, you probably get shot here if you're not too careful.
I've almost been shot many times for being on private property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the one you were talking about, conversations about religion, politics, and other person beliefs. Yeah, we already kind of covered that one.
Just don't talk about them.
When dining out, the waiter comes to you, it's considered rude to call the waiter over.
I don't know if I would agree that it's called rude, because there's times where I'm like, hey, can I get ketchup, or can I get the mustard, whatever condiment, or... And if they're not doing their job, can I get some water?
Yeah, right. It's, hey, I need a drink.
Like,
your tip just went down.
Your tip. I'm reminding you how to do your job. Your tip just went down. Exactly.
I'm
iffy on that one.
Yeah. Is it rude? Maybe. But if you're having to do it, it's because your waiter sucks and they're not doing their fucking job.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. So I agree with that one. If you do it because they're not doing their job.
Now, the one part I could see is if you just sat down and they haven't taken your order yet, and you're like, "Hey, can we get our order taken?"
Yeah, I consider that.
Consider that a little more toward this line. But if you're in the midst of dinner and you're not being taken care of, at some point. I've been to places where I got up and went to the fucking thing and got my own drink because it, like... Because I was like,
you guys
fuck this, dude. I was like, I was like, fucking, I ain't not even gonna deal with it. I'm just gonna go get my own drink. That was probably considered really rude, but still, it's the same thing. I'm there to eat and be gone. I'm not there to wait for you to take care of me the whole time.
Yeah,
all right.
I agree with that one.
Walking places in the suburbs or small cities is dangerous, and you'll be seen as suspicious if...
I've only had this happen to me once in my life.
I don't know.
My entire life, I was new to the area so I was living in North Carolina. I was new to this suburb area, and I just moved there, and I was curious. I was kind of new to outside of Utah as well, right? And so I'm walking around, and I had the cops called on me.
Really?
Because I did, because they saw me as this white person, and I know this is going to sound totally bad, but this is why I was walking around trying to get familiar with the area. I somewhat got lost, and I was walking around some places, and I ended up at this elementary school that was abandoned, and I think they were demolishing it. But I had the cops called on me, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing in the area?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm new to the area. Here's my new address. Here's my address. Here's who I am." And I went through all of the introductions of stuff. And when the cop got me in his car, he's just like, "Look, we've had a few phone calls on you because you look very out of the normal here. People are not used to, they're not used to seeing people like you, and they don't know what you're doing here."
See, for me, it's like, dude, if you call the cops on everybody walking around or riding a bike or did you be on the phone all day?
You're on the phone all day.
Because, I guess I've never really lived in a place that people weren't super active, I guess. Like,
See, that's why I said this one's only happened to me ever once in my life, and I think it was just purely a
I've lived a
coincidence.
lot of I've lived, in Los Angeles, lived in Seattle, live in Arizona now. Like, I've lived a few other places, including Dallas and some places in New York and Ohio, and I just don't. People walk around and ride bikes and
Exactly.
I don't know, sure, if it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, maybe, but I don't know. I don't really see this one myself. I don't. It's just I don't know. I don't
That
see
one
that one myself.
I don't fully agree with it,
Yeah.
but
All right, talking about your salary, talking about someone's
that's a no.
what? Talking about
That's a
someone's
no-no.
weight, driving too slow in left lane. This doesn't even make any sense.
Talking about your salary, don't do it. Talking about someone's weight, don't ask a lady how much she weighs, or a guy. And if you're driving slow in the left-hand lane, which is our fast lane for those outside of America,
post is
freaking get out.
Just pick one, dude. Fuck, which one are you picking? Don't have to throw them all out there. But
you don't have to throw them all. It's like
I don't.
But I'll say, talking about salary is a no-no.
But
it's not against. Like, a lot of people think it's against
do other
policy.
countries? Do other people from other countries talk about their salary and stuff?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a very common thing.
I don't unless
I honestly here in America
$1 million a month because I'm. Well, I could see those people like if you're that YouTuber turned boxer douchebag fuck, then
Paul,
then yeah, I'm sure I make whatever, but I just don't see normal people doing that in any country.
No. I know that a lot of the Americas, like, they say it's against their policy not to talk about it, but to my understanding, it's typically not.
Oh, you mean like company?
It's against company policy or something.
That's because they were always getting sued for disparaging amounts of money for not treating people the same. So they were like, you can't talk about it because then you'll know that we pay people differently depending on however we want.
But I don't know. Especially when I was in the government industry, we were paid on a table.
Yeah.
It's like, and so everybody's like, well, you're this job, so I already know you're at this lane.
Well, not only are you paid on a table, but it's actually public knowledge.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, they're like, well, I know you've been here for 5 or 6 years, so I know you're roughly in this area. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. And that's how most of my career, half my career went. And then once I left the government, it was a different thing. And I don't know. I don't fully.
All right. Don't call out somebody's house, or don't call somebody's house homely in America.
Yeah.
That's not even a word I ever hear people use. That's just so, I don't know. In the South, you might get your ass kicked for honking your horn.
True.
Anywhere you might get your If you're,
I know that I've gotten the finger a couple times.
You better honk your horn on the highway and not when you're stopped in traffic, because if you start honking your horn when you're stopped in traffic, you ain't got nowhere to go if somebody decides to get out.
That's for sure. Yeah.
One thing I can say is that many Americans aren't afraid of confrontation. A lot of them will be nice for them. Yeah, this is very true.
Yes, very true.
People are fine unless you want to talk some shit or touch somebody, and then they are not afraid to have a confrontation for sure.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are in America, better have somebody call the ambulance for you.
Make sure you ask if it's okay. No, it's true. Some of I agree with some of these, but I definitely would like to hear what your guys' thoughts from outside the U.S.
Because I seem like a lot of these are just, you don't do it no matter where you're ever from, whether you're from overseas or like not in America or not. Like, it seems like a lot of them you just wouldn't never do. So.
Yeah.
So sorry, this one's a little bit longer than our normal, but I feel like the conversation was pretty good. So
yeah, it's good to have everybody.
Leave some comments down below.
Leave a like.
Leave a help comment. Us with the algorithm.
Definitely.
So
thanks everyone. Have yourself a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later.
Much love all.